What's up, y'all? It's John Joffrey with Revent Builds, and we're back out here at the house on Westlake Hills. We're getting all of our plumbing, HVAC, and electric in. We have some unforeseen circumstances with framing. I'm gonna walk the site with my project manager, Andrew, today and see what's going on. Come on inside. Okay guys, so as y'all know, this is a massive remodel and addition project. So we have a lot of places where we're having new framing meeting existing, and this is one of those areas where this was really the existing exterior wall of the house. And as we came to work on this, we're lofting these ceilings, we made these openings bigger for windows. We realized that this massive wall that's supporting our ridge beam up at the top is really flimsy. So I got Andrew, my project manager, out here, and we got Pedro, our master framer. He does all of our doors, trim, framing. He is a freaking maestro. He's been doing this longer than I've even been alive. So guys, tell me what's the solution here? What did we come up with?
Okay, so I met the engineer out here and he says that this wall needs to be stiffened up. So we're putting 5 LVLs, 5.5 inches wide, stacked all the way from floor to ceiling, and we're gonna put straps across that top plate.
Yeah, but so now what sucks is this is a 2x4 wall. These LVLs are 6 inches. They're a 2x6, 5.5. So basically we have to fur out this whole wall to make all of this level. But Pedro is thinking, the engineer didn't tell us this. You want to add more 2x6, right?
Yes, sir.
You think it's just gonna strengthen the whole thing?
2x6s.
I mean, what can it really hurt? Why don't we just put 2x6s here on the inside?
Inside.
But outside we'll use the 2x4s.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's just get some more 2x6s. We'll put them in there. I think you're right. It's just gonna make the whole thing stronger, and then we won't have to worry about just furring it out with the 2x4. So, you know, these are just things that come up that they have to be dealt with, and a lot of the time, clients don't like to hear it, or, you know, it's not necessarily the best news to give, but when we find something that needs attention, we have to fix it. It's our duty to do things the right way. So man, look, we put all this subfloor here, and the plumbers had to come back in to get all the plumbing rough in and pull a bunch of it up.
Yeah, it's easier to just pull up the full sheet versus cutting it out, so we just popped up the full sheet.
Do you love having to redo that stuff, Pedro?
Hey, but why they make a notch in this?
They shouldn't have.
They has a lot of space.
They
Why can't they just go lower?
They could have a little bit lower, man.
That'd be too easy.
We're gonna have to put supports to the floor in all those areas.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so as our dearest Pedro pointed out, we have this drain line. If you look, this is all the way flush, all the way down, this whole wall of windows. We were thinking, you know, the plumbers just put this in, and we're like, you know, it's always easy, just fur it out, but then you look at this, then this wall is gonna stick out further than those windows. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna notch that LVL up there. We have all the support. This is a huge wall. So this massive LVL at this point is not doing anything. This is where it's now carrying the load past this wall. So we're gonna take this pipe, we're gonna notch out the LVL and then put this pipe into the wall. Okay, so here's another thing. When you are doing a remodel and you're working with an existing slab, especially a big slab on a sloping yard like this, to put in our new plumbing, we have to trench all of the existing slab. So this is just done with a freaking jackhammer. Brute force. I mean, you know, here for a week, just chipping this up. We had to chip up so much of this slab. And what we do is we come back, we put our poly, that's a plastic paper, down so that none of the soil and none of the water is coming up through the foundation. Then we're gonna get rebar like this. We're gonna dowel it so we make holes on either side of the slab. We dowel the rebar in and then we pour new concrete so that it's all adhered back together. A lot of the same concepts that you're using on smaller, easier projects. I don't even want to say easier. Almost nothing in construction is easy, but on a little more one-dimensional projects where let's say we're just moving a kitchen drain, so we have to bust the concrete and move it. Now we're repiping a whole entire house where we're busting the slab virtually everywhere, right? So it's the same concepts, but just on a bigger stage, you know, bigger dollar amounts, higher skilled labor, or, you know, people that we're growing with and they're learning with us. But I love it because each time you know, how I did it was staggering out these kind of jobs where I gained a little more and more experience. And then by the time you get to a big job like this, you know, there's still surprises, there's still problem solving, which is actually fun and engaging, but it's mostly stuff that you've dealt with before, like 90%. And then you have 10% unknowns, and, you know, maybe there's a totally different application that you haven't dealt with before. But like, you know, it's not like we're walking into this blind.
I said we did run into all kinds of issues over here.
Yeah.
Just because like right where the like, drains went or joists were sitting. So I just had to get with the engineer, and he had to give me a detailed plan like where we put holes. But we got it all figured out because we had to get a vent from this side of the beams to that side of the roof.
Yeah.
So we had to go down a third of the way, center, and then come across and then go back up.
Well, and remember, they missed this on the architecture plans to say that this was a recessed pan. So what do we have to do?
Okay, yeah. So this was just solid surface originally. So we had to come back in, put new beams, drop them 4 inches so that we can get a curbless shower.
And cut all of our floor trusses.
Yeah, because this is going to be a curbless shower. So they put the pan, they build the pan down in here, and then everything gets floated to the drain.
Right, so that basically when you're walking through the bathroom, you don't have a curb, you don't have to step over anything. This is all going to be level with the floor, with the finished floor and the tile. So, you know, it's just crap like that where it's like, it wasn't really called out on the architecture plans. You know, sometimes those things get missed, or it was and the structural engineers just didn't mark that those trusses had to be recessed. So we ordered our whole truss package, we got all this in, it was all level, and then we had to come back, cut it, repair it per the way the engineer wanted us to do it.
These valves are actually made for a 2x6 wall. So we got to come back and further this wall out so that these valves.
Dude, these are badass. They're all like thermostatic valves. This stuff is like super expensive. Well, we just, you know, love doing things twice and doing it the hard way rather than the easy way. Another complication, I mean, this stuff happens. Like, you have a bedroom laid out on a plan, it looks good on paper, and kind of right where these LVLs are, this is where the bedroom stopped. So the clients just felt that it was too small. So we ended up pushing this wall back to where you see it now. We had to extend these ceiling joists and make the bathroom smaller, but this was all already framed up when we did it. So, you know, you just got to take that stuff on the fly and just kind of make corrections as you need. And to me, when you get caught up and you're like, I want this to be a perfect process and everything's gonna go super smooth, you're setting yourself up for failure. You just gotta kind of be fluid, roll with the punches, get the shit done, get in and out. Okay, so next and highest priority is to get our electric rough inspection passed. Then that is the key that unlocks what's called our group inspection. Then we have a plumbing rough and top out, we have a mechanical rough, and then we have our framing inspection. Once we pass all of that, we get a clear to cover. Then we can insulate, then we have an insulation inspection, then we can hang wallboard, then they do a wallboard inspection, and after that, there's no inspections till final. So right now, our choke point is electric rough. After that, we are just trying to pass our group to get to finish out. And then after that, we are off to the frickin' races and the city is out of our ass.